Everyone, you are the light, Gala. I'm Carolyn Clifford from WXYZ TV, Channel 7 Action News. The spirit of resiliency, courage, and all of our survivors in safety are the reason that we are here tonight. First Step has been growing, adapting, and working to keep survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault and their families safe since the agency started way back in 1978. And that did not stop when the pandemic hit. For decades now, I've had the sincere pleasure of hosting First Step's annual gala and other events. It is a beautiful time for our community to rally together and celebrate the hard work of First Step staff, volunteers, donors, and survivors. You know, when I got the call that this year's event was moving to be 100% virtual, like so many other events, I was sad, like all of you. You know, every year I look forward to gathering with you all and sharing stories over dinner, over drinks, and dancing, of course, and honoring those dedicated to the mission of First Step. That was especially true after the last year and a half we've had. It's been quite a journey. However, after I sat with that feeling for just a moment, I thought about all the hard decisions First Step has made in the last 18 months to ensure the safety of their clients and their staff, their community partners and volunteers, their own families at home. And when I reread First Step's agency vision, peaceful families, safe communities, I certainly understood that, yes, they too wish to celebrate in person. They too miss gathering and sharing laughs and hugs and time together. But at the end of the day, as their core values state, safety is paramount. So, though I wish I was looking out into an audience and seeing all of your stunning and beautiful faces, I am certainly grateful for those who made this difficult yet critical decision on our behalf. And I appreciate that you out there in our virtual audience took the time to join us tonight. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for supporting First Step. Whether it's through working, volunteering, donating, advocating, supporting, you are a point of light in a moment that can be pivotal for changing the outcome for survivors. You know that. As many of you know, domestic violence and sexual assault can affect anyone at any time. No one, including no race, no age, no gender, sexuality, religion, socioeconomic or citizenship status, and so forth, is immune to violence. Actually, if you're not a survivor yourself, statistics state that you are more likely to know someone who is than not. Survivors are our parents, our siblings, our children, our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers. Those who have committed to attending First Step's Gala before may know that I, too, am a survivor of domestic violence. I know you've heard me tell my story about my mom many, many times before. She suffered from domestic violence at the hands of my own biological father, who has now passed away. Thankfully, my mother got out of that crazy situation by starting her own business in the trunk of her car. I tell her story because I don't want people out there in this audience to ever be ashamed, whether you are a child of someone suffering or whether you are suffering yourself. Speak about it, because you can always help someone else. After people hear my mom's story, they approach me in grocery stores, at stores, and businesses and say, I listened to your mom's story and I got out of that situation because you had the courage to share your mom's story. So don't be afraid to tell someone, because you may help someone in doing so. You know, it is stories like mine why agencies like First Step are so very important in our community. It is stories like yours that make your generosity so instrumental to the outreach and positive impacts First Step services can have on those affected by violence. So I say thank you again tonight. And for tonight, we have a lot planned for you. We will recognize and celebrate the devotion, the vision, the generosity, and the tireless work of First Step staff and board members, volunteers, donors, and community partners that have made our work possible. We will also hear the stories of survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault who have worked with First Step to overcome violence and to try their best to find peace and some sense of happiness. Additionally, later in this program, we're going to highlight some of the amazing silent auction items which you can access via the link displaying right at the bottom of your screen. And remember this, all of the proceeds of our auction go to First Step's ARC, The ARC, also known as Animals Receiving Kindness, is First Step's very own on-site animal shelter. This program allows survivors and families fleeing domestic and sexual violence to bring their furry loved ones with them when coming into a shelter. You know, a lot of people don't want to leave their animals behind. A safe space for pets to heal from the abuse, too. A program that is certainly committed to keeping families together because we all know our pets are our family, too. So I'd like to encourage all of the viewers out there to pick up your phones, your computers, or your tablets. Get on your social media accounts right now, text or call, and invite your friends and your family to join in on viewing our silent auction this evening. Bidding closes at 9:30 p.m. There are packages for just about everyone. For your sports fans, with some remarkable MSU football packages, Lions memorabilia, and Red Wings tickets to vacation spots, extravagant parties, and event opportunities, to even some handmade jewelry and survivor art. Everything for everybody. Please do not hesitate to share your excitement, ask questions, or support in the chat box. Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. We have staff available to help answer any questions you might have and would love to hear who is watching and where you are from. And of course, we will attempt to meet our fundraising goal tonight to help continue to offer First Step's free and comprehensive life-saving services. If at any time during tonight's program you feel compelled to give, you can text the words First Step to the number 56651 to be given a secure link to directly donate to our cause. And now, I would like to turn the program over to First Step board member and the 2021 You Are the Light event co-chair, Patrice Alexander, with a message she pre-recorded for us to show as she is currently at home celebrating with loved ones at her You Are the Light watch party. Patrice?
Good evening, everyone. As Carolyn said, my name is Patrice Alexander, and not only do I have the privilege of sitting on First Step's board of directors for almost 3 years, but this year, myself and my co-chair, Lisa Beth Riopel, have the honor of being event chairs of tonight's You Are the Light Gala. I echo Carolyn in that we wish we could be together in person. Nevertheless, I'm thrilled that you have joined virtually tonight from the safety and comforts of your own homes. On behalf of First Step, I'd like to thank all the generous donors who have supported this year's gala. When the pandemic struck, March of 2020, First Step's leadership had no idea what to expect. There was worry and concern that we might not have the funds, let alone equipment and technology to do what needed to be done to support survivors during this health crisis. But through the incredible kindness and generosity of our donors and volunteers, this event has raised over $140,000 so far. How incredible. I'm excited to see if we can meet or even exceed our original fundraising goal of $150,000 tonight. This money will be used to help First Step continue to provide free services, including emergency shelter, advocacy and counseling, 24-hour helpline services, legal advocacy, clinics, safety, planning, support groups, children's programs, and so much more. This event would not have been possible without the help of our wonderful event committee members who volunteered many hours over the last year planning and preparing for this event. Thank you, Lisa Beth Riopel, for standing as co-chair with me and all the support you provided. Additional thanks to Elsa Blanc and the Silent Auction Committee for making the auction accessible and providing a plethora of fantastic packages. In addition, I want to give an extra special thanks to our major sponsors. Karen Wilson Smith-Bauer, Luminescent sponsor, who is watching at home with her close family and friends, is not only a leading sponsor tonight, she is a longtime donor, board member, and volunteer to First Step. Thank you so much, Karen. This year, the Ronald J. Woods Charitable Trust is also a generous Luminescent sponsor. Being a source of light for our community, thank you for your sponsorship and support of First Step. We would also like to give a special thanks to Brilliance Plus sponsor, Bridgewater Interiors. Our very own Elaine Tingle, First Steps Board President, is an employee at Bridgewater Interiors, and for 3 years, Bridgewater has chosen to sponsor First Steps Gala. Thank you, Bridgewater Interiors, for your continued support. Additional thanks to our brilliant sponsors, John and Diane Mace. They own Mace Insurance Agency, MEMIC Insurance Agent in Trenton, and have been generous major gift and special event sponsors for the past few years. Special thanks to John and Diane for their generous support. And also to our Illumination sponsors, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Coldwell Banker, Weir Manual, Community Financial Credit Union, Integrated Process Developers Incorporated, Rich Lyons, and Carla O'Malley. And our Radiance Plus sponsor, Tito's Vodka, who also donated a special auction package for tonight. Thank you for your contribution. And for our Radiance sponsors, Beaumont Healthcare, Jennifer Hartke and Andy Hetzel, Fred Shenko, and United Auto Workers Local 600. Thank you so much. To all of our sponsors tonight, your support helps shine a light on the problem of domestic violence and sexual assault in our community. Your donations ensure that when a victim of domestic or sexual violence reaches out for help, First Step will be there. First Step couldn't do it without you. For more information on all of our sponsors and their program ads, please refer to your digital program book that was sent electronically to all attendees who pre-registered. You can also find a copy available on First Step's website. Tonight's event would also not be possible without a few other individuals and companies. Each year, Carolyn Clifford donates her time and skills to First Step and the Gala. Last week, Carolyn was inducted into Michigan's Broadcasting Hall of Fame. What an honor it is to work with her and have her be part of First Step's mission. Congratulations, Carolyn, for this much deserving recognition, and thank you for all you do for First Step. Thank you to Laurel Manor for working with us as we pivoted to a virtual event, and for allowing us to film tonight's gala at your location, and for the delicious meals. And of course, thank you to Motown Digital. Without a doubt, there's no way this event could have come to fruition without you and your hardworking, skilled team. Lastly, another special partnership we have is with Spalding D. Decker and their talented employee, Kat Nelson. Each year, Kat and Spalding D. Decker donate their time and efforts to creating exquisite films on behalf of our organization. Thank you, Kat and Catherine from Spalding D. Decker for the incredible work you do for First Step. So we intended to tell you about First Step services and the impact they have on survivors, but instead we decided to show you.
For the first time ever in my life, I felt like someone actually really loved me. Obviously I didn't realize I was falling right into his trap, because that's what he wanted. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. He started punching me in my face. My kids were home when it happened, but I thought they were sleeping. And he couldn't stop himself. I thought I was gonna die. And the next day, my face was unrecognizable. One of my sons, he had been awake and he seen that happen. And I said right in front of him that he was lying, that he made it up. This is my worst regret that I've ever had in my whole entire life. I did it because I thought I was doing what was best for him and for everybody. I would sacrifice myself to save my children. I feel like a lot of their childhood was lost because they were trying to be men faster than they should, so they could protect me. I would sit in the driveway and I called the 24-hour hotline, and I would speak to a first responder from here every night. First time I felt hope that maybe I wasn't going to die by the hands of this guy was when I would talk to First Step all night.
Since 1978, First Step has been the comprehensive and free service provider in Wayne County for anyone who identifies as being impacted by domestic and sexual violence. The mission of First Step is to eliminate both domestic and sexual violence and to provide comprehensive services to individuals and families impacted by these crimes. We have our residential program, which includes our emergency shelter facility, our ARC, which is Animals Receiving Kindness, so that the animals can come with the families into shelter. And we also have our transitional housing program.
So when the pandemic hit, First Step really had to pivot and adapt to see how we can really serve survivors, because we knew domestic violence was not going to go away. In fact, a lot of the police reports and our experience have shown that domestic violence has significantly increased during the pandemic.
This has been very difficult for survivors because the isolation has been even more. And so we are very aware of that, and we are taking steps to make survivors feel as comfortable as possible in the shelter.
Most survivors come to us by calling our 24-hour helpline. The first thing you're going to hear, "Hello, this is First Step. Are you safe?" If you're not safe, they're going to help you try to get to a safe place. And then they're going to help you to develop a safety plan and look at how you can keep yourself and your children, if you have children, alive, so that you can take the steps that you need. All those kinds of things are really, really critical. Survivors, they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay a percentage of their income. So all they've got to do is call and ask for help.
Anything that you can imagine that would be a barrier for clients, if they name it, if we can see a way we can help them with it, it's done.
When I first came to First Step, it was because of my ex-husband. He was emotionally and mentally abusive. I was a part of the advocacy program for me. My older two children got an advocate, and I went through transitional housing. The advocate helped me form ways to explain to them what was going on. They progressively got better. It is very important for them because hopefully they will not fall for the things that I fell for. They will see the red flags before I saw them, and they will not have to put up with the heartache and the pain that I had to put up with. First Step actually was able to get me an apartment of my own. I left with nothing. It was mainly just to run, and having First Step be able to get me the things that I needed, that meant the world to me.
A big part of what we do in the children's program is to inform and educate kids about what the causes of violence are and helping them to know that domestic violence, sexual violence, none of that is ever their fault. One of the first things that pops out is our playground in our shelter space, where children are able to have this really uniquely built area where they can play and explore. For kids, it's really important because, maybe they can't be out in the community at a normal park, but they've got this space that, feels safe for them, and they still get to have fun in the same ways that other kids do.
When survivors are fleeing violence in their home, we are aware that they do not want to leave their animals behind. Our animals are family. So we built the Animals Receiving Kindness, which is our animal shelter on site, also known as the ARC. When families come into shelter, they are able to bring their animals with them in seeking safety.
First Step is an incredible family, and I am so privileged and so grateful that I get to be a part of it. I get to witness the amazing work of the staff and the volunteers and the donors as they work to fight this in the community. I am asking all of you to continue to give that time, talent, and treasures to this agency because our work is not done. and there is still a long road to go for us to eliminate these crimes.
It's life-changing work that this staff is doing. They are saving lives each and every day. And so that, to me, really motivates me every day to stay involved with the organization. And it's easy to get people involved and stay committed when they see really what the impact is on the survivors.
We've been working on this since 1978. As a society, it's really important for us to help people break this cycle of violence so that they can live, can be peaceful. Our motto is peaceful families and safe communities, and that's what we're working to create.
Such an amazing video, right? It brings it right home. Certainly breaks my heart to hear about terrifying assaults that happen in our community and really around the world. And aren't we all so grateful that First Step exists? Now, before I review the ways you can get involved and be a part of First Step's mission to end domestic and sexual violence tonight, I must give thanks to event co-chairs Patrice Alexander and Elizabeth Riopel for all they do to make this event happen. Each year that I attend this gala, I recognize its growth and the hard work the volunteers and staff put into creating this magnificent event. To learn that this event has already raised over $140,000 is extraordinary, right? With all of the overachievers we have at First Step, I think we can meet or exceed our goal of $150,000 tonight. But we need your help. Proceeds raised tonight will help First Step offer free supportive services to survivors, including meeting the extra needs and barriers placed on survivors as a result of the pandemic, as you just saw in that video. Typical barriers survivors face include a lack of affordable housing and shelter, resources for financial and legal support, and difficulties obtaining reliable transportation. The list goes on and on and on. You know that. When COVID-19 hit, additional barriers developed. COVID-19 has separated victims from their support networks, reduced the time they could have had away from their abusers, and diminished access to child care services, food, education, and proper intervention. Acquiring technology like internet, webcams, and cell phone plans to access virtual services or healthcare and supplies to stay safe from both the COVID-19 crisis and daily abuse have been substantial challenges for so many. So that is where you come in tonight. Let's start with the easiest way for you to give. At any time during our program tonight, you can text the phrase First Step with or without a space to the number 56651 and donate your chosen amount. Then follow the instructions provided in the automated text response to make your payment. It's as easy as that. And then later on tonight, we will hear from board member and volunteer Kathy Cronin about the different ways your donation directly impacts survivors of violence and First Step. It is all at that time we will call all of you and ask for your spontaneous donations through this text to give feature in hopes to meet our fundraising goal tonight. Lastly, our silent auction. The proceeds from our silent auction are going to our on-site Animals Receiving Kindness Pet Center. You saw it there in the video, so survivors can bring their pets into the shelter with them and not leave them at home. We have some remarkable packages available for you, and our auction is open to anyone, not just those viewing virtually. So please, right now, share widely on social media. Text your friends the auction link and bid on your favorite items. Silent auctions, our silent auction, should I say, closes at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Winners will be notified via an email after closing, which will include payment and pickup or delivery instructions for you. Now, the great thing about this platform we are using is some of its bidding features. After you register your phone number and email, you can choose to make a bid one at a time or set a max bid option where the website will automatically bid for you up until your maximum allotted amount, which you get to choose. Select details to learn more about the package and swipe through the photo albums to see the items. You can also pre-add your payment information in case you do win or want to otherwise donate through text to give and don't want to have to add it later on. However, you will always receive a notification asking you to confirm and check out before your card is ever charged. Let's see some of what we have available tonight. Now, one package includes a virtual home wine tasting with Master Sommelier Madeline Trefon, Detroit's first lady of wine. I hope I said her last name right. Madeline Trefon was the first American woman to receive this designation and the second worldwide. The package includes 6 premium wines, a cheese, and a lovely box. Madeline will join you and your guests via Zoom and walk you through the tasting while telling the story of each wonderful hand-picked wine. This package is valued at $3,000, so you don't want to miss out on this one, especially if you love wine. Another magnificent package is a fall weekend away at a beautiful cottage in South Haven, Michigan. This fall wine tour weekend includes 2 nights in a South Haven cottage, a perfect location to enjoy Southwest Michigan wine tours, hang out at the beach, or hike the Cal Haven Trail. Also included is a wine basket containing everything you need to make your weekend extra, extra special. All right, another one of my favorites, the Get Your Smarty On, the ultimate MSU football tickets and swag basket. Now, this package includes 6 tickets to the MSU game against Penn State. Go green, go white. Enjoy Spartan football on November 27th with 4 tickets in the Huntington Club and 2 tickets with seats right behind the team. Now, the Huntington Club, located on the 4th floor of Spartan Stadium, offers a host of amenities designated to provide you with the ultimate game day experience. You don't want to miss out on this one. Seats are covered and heated for inclement weather and include comfortable living room style furniture, multiple TVs, private restrooms, and elevator access. Now, this package also includes food and drinks, parking, and a swag basket. It is valued at over $3,300. So for more information, check out package number 2. Again, go green, go white for that one. Okay, I'm excited to see the community come together tonight to support such an important mission and meaningful hard work and services for those impacted by violence. And now, I want to take some time to honor those who have dedicated countless hours, years of work, and those who embody First Step's mission and values. All right, first we're going to start out with the Legacy Award. You cannot acknowledge First Step's 43-year history without acknowledging Karen Wilson Smithbauer. For those of you who do not know, Karen made the lead gift to open First Step's Karen Wilson Smithbauer Center in Wayne, individually and through her foundation, the Karen Kalina Wilson Foundation. Karen has ensured that survivors and their children are provided the best support and care on their healing journey. In addition to her financial generosity, Karen has contributed countless hours of time and leadership as a board member and as a volunteer. So it is fitting that our first award to be presented tonight has been named the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award. This year, the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award goes to Heidi Nasco, longtime volunteer, current secretary of First Step's Board of Directors, and member and leader of pro bono practice at Dykema Law Firm. In 2007, Heidi began volunteering as an attorney for First Step shortly after she was licensed to practice law. Her time and devotion to supporting survivors and First Step did not end there. She has been a socially conscious advocate for survivors in the legal system, dedicating years of her career to helping raise awareness and improve legal services for victims of crime. Now, in her current position at Dykema, Heidi works diligently to train lawyers on how best to represent and support survivors of domestic violence, sex trafficking, and sexual assault across the country in numerous courts and various capacities. Heidi has also guided First Step through various legal issues, including finance, human relations, zoning issues, and more. She has made a significant impact on so many survivors. So, it is with great honor we present the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award to Heidi Nasco.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Nasco, and I am the Secretary of the Board of Directors at First Step. I first came to First Step over 20 years ago as an attorney volunteer shortly after I was licensed to practice law. I learned about domestic violence as a college student, and my volunteer work with survivors demonstrated a need to inject more survivor-focused lawyers into the legal system. I felt that it did not always see a legal problem through the eyes of a survivor. Volunteering as an attorney for First Step allowed me to immediately be the advocate that I wanted to be back in college. When my job responsibilities required me to oversee the firm's national pro bono practice, I was able to screen and select volunteer opportunities for my firm's attorneys. One of my first projects I established was to provide lawyers for Michigan-based battered immigrants whose spouses used the immigration system as a tactic of abuse. Thereafter, I've had the honor of representing, and perhaps more importantly, training lawyers to represent survivors of domestic violence, sex trafficking, and sexual assault across the country in numerous courts, in numerous capacities, from personal protection orders, name changes, divorce and child custody, Crime Victims' Rights Council, immigration matter, and international kidnapping matters. Some of my proudest moments have been with a survivor by my side in front of a judge. So perhaps it is obvious why I was attracted to support First Step more seriously through board service. I want to thank my parents, sisters, aunts, and my daughters who have supported and amplified my work with their love and patience, especially when I have just one more meeting to cover or a work trip that is lasting just one more day. I also want to thank the board for mentoring and creating a space for me at First Step. And of course, Karen, for whom this award is named, for all of the essential support and guidance that she has provided and continues to provide for First Step. If I would say one encouraging sentiment to survivors or volunteers, it is to know that who you are matters, what you have to say matters, and that you are enough. And don't let a lawyer, police officer, or judge make you feel otherwise.
Next up, we have the Hope Award. The First Step Hope Award is given to a staff member who exemplifies excellence in service to First Step's mission and to the movement to end violence. This year's Hope Award is given to Delicia Scott, also known as Lily, a survivor advocate in First Step's emergency shelter. Lily began her career at First Step, joining the agency as a part-time first responder in August of 2011. It has been said that Lily is the type of advocate that will move mountains so that survivors will get what they need. Her colleagues say she is extremely passionate and driven about working with survivors of domestic and sexual violence, and that she has hope for survivors who don't yet have hope for themselves. She is someone you just want to be around. So much so that former clients are known to come back to First Step just to visit her. Lily has been instrumental in saving lives, raising awareness, and fighting for what is right. First Step is honored to know her, and word on the street is that she is currently throwing a watch party at home with her closest family and friends. So we say shout out to you all. You have a wonderful woman in your lives, and she deserves this celebration tonight. So we present to you Lily Scott, the First Step Hope Award.
Thanks to everyone that nominated me for this year's Hope Award. Being part of the First Step family is an honor. First Step is more than an organization with employees. My colleagues and I work hard to provide excellent and outstanding services to those that trust in us. I work with the most compassionate and caring people on planet Earth. Every department is seeking to provide the most comprehensive services to clients. Thanks to the administrative team for all their dedication and hard work behind the scenes. I want to dedicate this award to everyone on the residential team. We rock. This year will mark my 10th anniversary with First Step. I look forward to the future. I'm proud to be part of this organization. I am glad to provide services that can be life-changing for clients and their families. What is hope? Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for certain things to happen. Hope describes a hotline caller that reaches out for support and shelter for the first time. Hope helps restore victims to the people they were before the abuse began. I try my best to go hard for my clients because they deserve the best. They deserve the ability to triumph over their experience as victims of violence and abuse. Clients often remind me of the power of faith, grace, resilience, and hope. Being an advocate comes with a commitment. It requires kindness, compassion, and understanding. In closing, I would like to say, thanks for honoring me. I genuinely appreciate it and love you all, peeps.
And they all love you too, Lily. All right, this next award category is the First Step Tilly Award for Outstanding Volunteer. This award is given to an outstanding First Step volunteer who, through their service, takes positive action that changes the world and inspires others by their example. This prestigious award is named in memory of longtime volunteer Tilly LaFave, who served First Step for decades and encouraged 3 generations of her family, the O'Malley and LaFave families, to engage in the mission of First Step. This year's First Step Tilly Award for Outstanding Volunteer is being presented tonight to Deb Moss. Deb Moss has been volunteering with First Step for more than 6 years now. The staff who work right alongside Deb describe her as a thorough team player who takes on any task with ownership and pride. She is someone you can trust and rely on. First Step depends on her for her great attention to detail and follow-through. First Step's finance director, Julie Meyer, said, her volunteer time has been indispensable and vital to First Step's success. We are grateful she chooses to help First Step with her time and her talent. We present the First Step Tilly Award for Outstanding Volunteer to Deb Moss.
Good evening. I'm Deb Moss. I began as a volunteer at First Step about 6 years ago. I normally work at the front desk in the Plymouth office, performing a variety of tasks, everything from greeting visitors to filing to weeding and watering the flower beds when they need it. I began my volunteer efforts after my retirement, initially to help fill my time, but it soon turned into something so much more meaningful to me. I have felt a sense of satisfaction in contributing in my own small way to First Step and its mission in our community. I've been blessed with so much in my life, and it was time for me to start giving back. A special thank you to Julie and Eileen for your positive attitude and ability to create a friendly and enjoyable atmosphere in the office. And a special thank you to Adriana for being a terrific volunteer coordinator with an abundance of new ideas. Also, a thank you to Tilly LaFave's family, who have supported First Step and its mission in her memory and their recognition of the positive impact of volunteers to that mission. And lastly, a thank you to First Step for honoring my volunteer work with this award. It's greatly appreciated, and I accept it for myself and on behalf of all the other wonderful volunteers here at First Step. And a very heartfelt thank you.
And we say thank you, Deb, especially when you think about retirement. All the things that you can do for you to give of your time to First Step is pretty amazing. You know, usually at these types of events, we would talk about the dynamics of domestic and sexual violence, the years of lobbying and efforts to enact social change and policy, or the devastating effects abuse can have on families and their generations to come. But this year's gala, we want to tell you about the ways COVID-19 impacted survivors and our services, and the gallant and inventive ways First Step responded.
The lockdown orders created more isolation for those who already often are isolated. It also put kids in homes and where their safest place during the day may have been in a school. We had a quick increase in calls right before the lockdown order started. And then our call volume actually decreased for a little bit, which was very concerning to us because that meant people did not have a safe way to call. The pandemic did not cause people to become violent. What it did was allow for more opportunity and more intensity of violence.
So since the beginning of the pandemic, First Step has realized, and it's been First Step's priority, to keep staff and clients safe. And so from the start, we had to take action. At the shelter, we immediately started doing disinfecting and cleaning on a regular basis. We had face masks for all the staff and face masks for all the clients. Prior to the pandemic, clients would share spaces together. They would share rooms together. What we had to do in the shelter is limit our capacity, and in doing that, we had it so that only one family or one individual was in a suite. And that really has ensured that people are safe.
When the pandemic hit, First Step really had to adapt. We had to really change our way of work. Most of our services throughout, the decades have always been in person, but we were actually able to implement video counseling and phone counseling for our advocates. And that's something that we might be able to bring into the future. Because if you think about it, sometimes it's hard for a survivor to drive all the way in, to the office. So it might, prove to be something that we can use into the future.
Survivors have been stuck at home with the person that abuses them and controls them. But First Step has never stopped 1 minute during this pandemic providing services to survivors, because we know more than ever survivors need First Step during this pandemic.
The COVID-19 pandemic was very scary and very challenging for our agency, but I am confident in the way in which we have not only endured, but thrived and adapted to this challenge and have continued to meet the needs of this community, that we are coming out of this pandemic stronger, wiser, and safer.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lori Kitchen-Bushell, First Step's Executive Director. This indescribable year and a half has provided First Step with its share of challenges. For so many of us, we have experienced a swath of emotions and struggles, from pandemic fatigue, economic stress, layoffs, furloughs, health fears, grief and loss, and the balancing of health and safety of our children and grandchildren, while navigating virtual schooling to top it all off. Survivors of violence have had all of these same challenges, fears, and stress as a result of also having to navigate the additional barriers caused by their assailants' power and control. The COVID-19 pandemic has been very difficult on adult and children survivors of violence, especially when home is not safe. The calls to First Step's helpline and community response program have shown us how intense psychological and physical mistreatment can get when people are isolated due to the pandemic. We continue to see elevated risk and danger and an increase in the use of physical force, including strangulation and weapons. We are living through a pandemic within a pandemic. What hasn't changed is the steps our staff are willing to take to ensure our services remain available, accessible, and are adaptable to whatever is thrown our way. Agencies like ours are often slow to change. This pandemic forced us to adapt and innovate overnight to meet the needs of our survivors and our staff. Speaking of our staff, they are truly the best. They are angels on earth. They are absolute superheroes. Just like police officers and EMS, our staff can be victims of vicarious or secondary trauma too. They show up to work every day and hear difficult and tragic stories of abuse that our clients endure. Nevertheless, they persevere. They help navigate survivors through these obstacles while at the same time balancing their own challenges of childcare, illness, grief, and keeping their own families safe from the pandemic. So to you, our First Step staff, thank you for giving your emotional labor and strength to so many. Your selfless service to the greater community is helping survivors get through these tough times. Our community is better because you are a part of it. First Step has so many programs to support survivors, all of which are free and made possible because of the community support and donors like those watching tonight. To show you what all these unsung heroes have done and all the lives they've touched even amidst the hardship of COVID-19, since March 1st of 2020, our hotline staff have answered over 9,700 calls to our crisis line, offering intervention, emotional support, referrals, and other resources. They have provided 27,000 nights of safe housing to 87 adults and 169 children in our residential and transitional supportive housing program. They have provided 9,458 hours of crisis intervention and supportive counseling to survivors of all ages. They delivered direct personal protection order assistance to 1,397 survivors and conducted over 1,000 lethality and danger assessment screenings. Since March of 2020, they have served over 6,000 clients, providing criminal justice advocacy and court support in our community response program. They have spent over 200 hours talking to thousands of people in the community, educating, advocating, and offering prevention education to professionals, civic groups, and students as part of their efforts to end domestic and sexual violence as we know it. I am so proud of and in endless awe of my coworkers. It is my deepest privilege to serve with all of you. Our board, chaired by Carrie Elaine Tingle from Bridgewater Interiors, has been instrumental in our ability to meet the needs of the pandemic as well. They have supported the staff to care for themselves as well as survivors during this time. They have helped to ensure the agency had the resources they needed to provide thoughtful leadership and oversight to First Step. With thanks to them and tremendous support from community partners and all of you who have supported us this year and tonight, First Step has made upgrades to ensure even safer health standards for our staff and survivors. Some of the accomplishments include: we installed new vinyl plank, easier to clean and sanitize flooring in the common areas of the shelter and the newly expanded Plymouth office. Thanks to a matching grant from the Margaret Dunning Foundation, we purchased a new van and trailer to help transport survivors and donations. We replaced our boilers and our HVAC systems in the shelter with all new energy-efficient systems. We replaced all of the refrigerators in all of our shelter suites. We helped parents virtual school their children in our shelter and transitional housing programs. We added more walls and doors in each shelter suite to provide our residents with more privacy. With partnership of our corporate honoree tonight, X for Communications, we have installed new alarm systems and upgraded our IT infrastructure. We have outfitted our advocacy team with modern technology so they can provide secure virtual counseling sessions. We have provided laptops, Wi-Fi, and technology access to survivors. We've updated our employee handbook and updated many of our HR policies and internal paperwork, reducing waste and increasing accessibility. We have also participated in our own internal work in recognition of the racial reckoning our country and communities are facing. We are working to support and understand how systems of oppression affect our staff and clients. First Step has committed to being an anti-oppression agency, and currently we are undergoing a strategic planning process that includes an agency audit and recommendations for justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion work. I am proud to say that to date, thanks to the protocols in place, the diligence of staff, and the health and safety and technology upgrades, we have had very few cases of COVID in our facilities and have managed to prevent any spread between residents. We have also been able to prevent any transmission of COVID-19 between on-site staff. So much has been accomplished this past year, and it is all due to our talented and dedicated staff, board members, volunteers, donors, and community partners. Words are not enough to thank you for your loyalty, your courage, and your dedication to First Step's mission and clients. So please, if you are watching from home with one of these, our staff, board, volunteer, and donor heroes, please turn to them and give them a COVID-safe applause, hug, or high five, and the deepest thanks that they truly deserve. I know that for everyone watching, this organization is close to our hearts. We all know we are viewing tonight for our own special reasons. Also, watching from home tonight are some of our resilient and spirited survivors, one of whom has a message for you all.
First Step was really the first organization that I found, I believe through Google, that was able to help us without any questions asked. And it was a godsend for me, literally. We are just living in a consistent battle of trying to get justice. It's a dark cloud that just will not leave us. It's a dark cloud that just will not leave us, and the only support that we've ever received is from First Step. So I was able to receive free counseling service for me and my 3-year-old at that time. There's a morning of my life prior. There's 2 mornings. There's a morning of my life before my husband, and then there's a morning of my life before I got catapulted into this situation. Because divorcing him was one situation, but dealing with the sexual abuse was a whole nother situation. The fight is never meant to be fought alone. You never see a war fought with one person. You see a war fought with many different people that come together on a unified platform for one cause. You cannot fight alone. You need actually individuals that are aware, that have experienced abuse, but you also need individuals that have not experienced abuse, because when you bring all of that together, it's just a power that the enemy just cannot stand up against. First Step is important to the community because more people are dealing with abuse than not. And there are, whatever the statistics say, that does not equal the actual number of people that are suffering from abuse. So you can come openly to these type of services, or you can be private. And I think that is very huge, because not everybody is willing to be open with their abuse. They're at different stages of their abuse. And First Step offers assistance for whatever stage of your healing that you are at, whether you're at the very beginning where you don't even know if you should come forward, or you're at the very end of your healing where you feel like you want to be bold and speak out on it. First Step is very powerful in bringing the community together and being aware and having knowledge of what domestic violence and sexual abuse looks like and what is needed in healing.
and stopping it and protecting people from it of all ages and genders and sexualities and religions. It is very unbiased toward the community. It is just one organization that's open for everybody, and it makes everyone feel welcome to come when they're ready to come. And they're not going to pressure you. They're just there to guide you along the journey wherever you are at. And we need that in our community because the community is full of many homes that are unsafe.
Good evening. I'm so excited to be here tonight. My name's Kathleen Cronin, and I'm a member of the First Step Board of Directors, and it's quite an honor. What a wonderful and powerful message from that survival. I'm grateful she's in a safer place and really commend her for her bravery and courage, surviving all she's endured and speaking out. Thank you so much. If we were all here in person, gathered around our table, having a little gin and tonic, I would be the first one to call out a special round of applause to Lori, our executive director, her leadership team, and each one of her devoted staff. Lori has been tasked with some of the hardest decision-making this agency has ever seen, impossible decisions to keep her staff safe while continuing to be available to survivors, and she did it impeccably. Lori has spent decades fighting for women's and survivors' rights, equity and inclusion, and safety in the community. She finds light in the dimmest of places. So I ask you, what is your source of light? Maybe, like me, it's the love you receive when you spend time with your children and grandchildren, my husband Tim, and my friends, you know who you are, and my siblings. Maybe your source of light comes by helping others. Some people receive light through counseling, lifelong learning, or spiritual work. Your source of light is what makes you shine. It's what makes you you. But some people have their sources of light nearly snuffed out by the violence, fear, injustice, and cruelty of intimate partner violence and sexual assault. We refer to these courageous souls as survivors rather than victims. It takes time to keep them safe. They have to stay alive in those circumstances. Survivors often rely on services like First Step to rekindle a light of hope, a light of peace, a light of safety, and a light of connection. That's where we all come in. No matter where you get your light, tonight we can all be a light for someone else. You are the light. And now, imagine just for a minute what is possible when all of our lights shine together. Did you ever sit in a room where one person lights a candle and they spread the candle around and pretty soon the whole room is illuminated? That's what we can do. I know many of you viewing here tonight have given generously, and we surely do appreciate it. I suspect, though, that many of you feel moved by the stories, I know I do, that you've heard tonight. And many of you might feel you haven't made a statement of just how much First Step means to you and to our community. This call to action is your last chance to make a statement on how much First Step means to you personally. Tonight, we've raised over $140,000, and now we are up to $144,635. I keep getting input from our great staff that's here each time we get a donor. So we're doing absolutely awesome. If you've been holding back, this is your call to action, your chance to make a statement to shine your light. If you haven't quite found your moment, maybe this is it. Let me explain how the paddle raise works. I'll introduce 4 donation levels, starting with the highest. For each one, I'll share examples of how that specific urgent challenge and how your donation can fund by donating at that level. After I do, if you'd like to donate at that level, please use your cell phone, as Carolyn and everyone has mentioned, to text the words First Step to the number 56651. In response, you will be asked how much you'd like to give. Text that amount, and a secure and direct link to complete your donation will be provided. That's all there is to it. So our first donation level, shelter safety, $1,000 and up level. Safety is one of the core values at First Step. Survivors stay in our shelter because it's not safe to stay in their home. Can you imagine? There are many ongoing expenses that First Step incurs to keep our clients, staff, and volunteers safe. Examples are the cost of security alarms, fencing, fire alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguishers, safety training, first aid supplies, door locks, and the list goes on. Maybe you've been so moved that you would be willing to give a gift of $1,000 or higher. Your gift may be used to help keep First Step safe and provides clients the peace of mind to be able to relax and heal from the trauma of constant threats of violence that they've had to live with for years. As I said, we're at $144,635, and we're trying to bust that $150,000 level. Your gift could take us right over the edge. The second level is the $500 level. Your gift of $500, I feel like Channel 56. Your gift of $500 could help pay for the technology costs that allow First Step to adapt to survivors from the pandemic and beyond. Laptops and desktop computers, IT support, cost of internet services, all help First Step to outfit survivors and staff with the IT tools needed to provide and receive virtual counseling services. Virtual court proceedings, virtual school, virtual job interviews, and so forth. Imagine for a moment trying to start a new life in a pandemic without access to technology. We take it for granted. Technology used to be a luxury, but now it's a necessity. Your gift of $500 may help a survivor, adult, or child have the technology tools they need to access help and to succeed in their new lives. Can you imagine? Who will make a $500 donation to help pay for technology and equipment? Again, pull out your phones and tablets and text First Step to the number 56651 to get a secure link where you can directly donate to First Step. The information is available on the screen below. I'd like to take a minute to thank some of our generous donors. We have Cheryl Kokowski, Wendy Woodward, Kathy Proppy, Michael Hartke, Jason Bradley, and bringing our total to $148,435. Woo-hoo! That's awesome. Now we get to the third level. Gift of $100 may help provide food, basic need, for one resident for their stay in the shelter. First Step keeps food costs low because we utilize donations and work smart to buy food in bulk at discount rates through programs like Cleaners. Thank you, Cleaners. Help provide nutritious meals and snacks with a $100 to $250 donation. First Step works to empower families in shelter. This includes giving shelter families the dignity of preparing their own meals to their own taste and nutritional needs and time frames. If your kids feel like a grilled cheese, First Step provides the ingredients for survivors to make a grilled cheese. That's what home feels like. You want a hearty salad? First Step provides fresh produce. You get the idea. Shine Your Light with a $100 to $250 gift can help provide food for the shelter residents and snacks for the kids. Can you imagine anything more worthwhile? Donations at this level will even help First Step to maintain our commercial kitchen so that the survivors can make their meals to fit their family's needs and tastes. We have 2 more donations coming in, our sweet Patrice Alexander and Kathy Patterson, my dear sweet friend. Our total now is $148,840. We are busting up there, people. Those donors have made a big difference. Imagine being a child in a shelter. You may have heard fighting in the other room. The police came, and in the middle of the night, with just a few belongings, you leave and go to the shelter. You're afraid and confused. The First Step program is all about helping children to be safe, feel safe, and overcome the trauma they have endured due to violence in the home. Poor little tiny kids. First Step conducts many programs for children throughout the year. back to school bash with free backpacks and school supplies, trunk or treat for Halloween, movie nights, field trips, holiday celebrations, birthday parties, and so much more. These program activities give the kids at First Step something to look forward to. It gives them the opportunity to be a kid again, to have fun, and to help heal from the stress and trauma they have endured. Your gift of $5 to $99 may help to fund children's activity and help a child regain their shimmer. Let me see, we got more. We have Karen Mazo, and we have Isaiah Kitchen-Bouchel, who happens to be sitting right here with me, and Colleen Kareka, Josh Campbell, the whole Kitchen-Bouchel family. Oh my gosh, we're at $149,970. Unbelievable. We are getting right to the end. I'd like to thank all of you who have just taken this last minute to give to make that $150,000. I'd like to thank our generous, wonderful staff. I'd like to thank our sponsor, our silent auction donors. This isn't counting the silent auction, so that's still to come. Those of you who are participating in that, those participating in the paddle race, those who felt you wanted to give but might not be able to do it at this time. Our texts will stay open even after the event, so that if you feel moved to give for some reason but can't do it tonight, you can shine your life with a donation at your leisure. So that wraps it up for our we have $30 more. I'm giving the $30. So we're going to make our $150,000. Thank you again from the bottom of our heart. Okay. And I'd like to reintroduce my beautiful friend, Carolyn Clifford, and we hope to see you all again next year. Here's Carolyn.
Wow, thank you, Kathy. And how about taking us over the edge, huh? With 150,000, yeah, we should definitely give a big hand for that. How about that? And thank you to all of our generous donors who called in. You are so very inspiring. We so appreciate each and every one of you who reached into your pockets and gave to this worthy cause tonight. I have some more awards to give out right now. Our next award tonight is our Community Leadership Award. This award is designated to a group, team, or partner organization that has gone above and beyond to support survivors of violence in Wayne County. First Step's Community Leadership Award goes to Larry King. He's the Assistant Prosecuting Attorney for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. In August of 2018, Larry began working with First Step through 34th District Court, specifically handling intimate partner violence cases. Their partnership continued after being promoted to work on felony domestic violence cases at the 3rd Circuit Court in the city of Detroit. You know, many staff who have had the privilege of working with Larry immediately recognized his efforts to go above and beyond for his clients, especially survivors. They said that he works hard to keep survivors safe and to achieve justice for them. Larry understands the dynamics of domestic violence and often attempts to secure convictions without the survivors having to testify, which can be life-changing for survivors because you know how difficult that is. He is well deserving of this award, and First Step is so lucky to have him as an ally. It is with great privilege we present the First Step Community Leadership Award to Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Larry King.
My name is Larry King. I'm an attorney with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. I work in the Special Victims Unit. My primary focus is domestic violence cases. Probably over 90% of my caseload is domestic violence. I also work partially in the Animal Protection Unit, and there is some overlap in those cases. I came to this role through a partnership between the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office and First Step. I was offered the opportunity to join the Prosecutor's Office in a position that was grant funded through First Step and in partnership with First Step, working in prosecution in one of our district courts in the field of domestic violence. And because I came into the law really wanting to do good and to help people. I found that opportunity incredibly attractive. And through my work with First Step, I can say nothing but wonderful things about this organization. And I think Wayne County and the Metro Detroit community is so blessed to have an organization like First Step that can work so closely with survivors and really provide them with the support that they deserve. And I just feel lucky to have been part of that. So, I really think that the work that's done is important, and First Step is so great, and I'm so glad to have positively impacted so many people. And I do see people and hear the thank yous from people that I've positively impacted. However, don't ever forget, and I can never forget, about all those people that we have not been able to help. Because for all the good work that we do, for all the good work that this organization does, and for all that I'm able to do, there are so many people that I can't help, and there are so many people that haven't been helped yet. So First Step, please keep up the work, and I will do everything I can to assist. I really think that this award, although it's going to me, it really belongs to everyone at the Prosecutor's Office Domestic Violence Unit. We have so many dedicated people in that unit, from my supervisor, Ms. Trish Gerard, to my coworkers and colleagues, to our advocates who work with our survivors along with First Step. Everyone in the unit really deserves a shout out in this and a thank you in this, because they work so hard. And I'd also just like to thank First Step for this recognition. I'm really humbled by this recognition, and I'm really grateful for everything that everyone does. So thank you.
And we thank you, Larry. Wasn't it nice to hear him say, I came into the law to do good and to help people, and that is certainly what he is doing day in and day out. So thank you. Next up is our First Step Corporate Honoree. This award is given to a business that demonstrated excellence in community service, supporting First Step and survivors of violence in our community. This year, First Step is pleased to present the Corporate Partner Award to Exfer Communications. Exfer Communications is an IT support services company out of Livonia that has been working with First Step since 2011. They have supported First Step by donating 50% of their critical services and providing all of our technology assistance and equipment. Exfer's services are always essential to First Step's operating successfully and seamlessly. However, this last 18 months would have been absolutely impossible to conquer if it were not for them. From power outages to pivoting to virtual and remote client services, Exfer was there. They are always there, with patience, with kindness, with creativity and expertise. Exfer is instrumental to First Step being able to continue to provide life-saving services. To all of Exfer staff viewing from your office's watch party, thank you for all that you do. You are truly First Step family. So, without further ado, we present the First Step Corporate Award to Exfer Communications and their devoted staff.
Good evening. I'm Brandon Hartke, President of Exfer Communications. On behalf of Exfer Communications team, I would like to thank First Step for this honor. We've had the pleasure of serving the organization's technology needs for over 10 years now, and in that time we've watched an amazing organization grow even stronger, helping countless people. In a challenging year, the Exfer and First Step teams worked together to continue that mission using technology to keep things rolling and positioning them for the future. We are humbled and proud to be recognized for helping in that mission. While I'm accepting this award, it is really the Exfer team that earned it. Thank you.
Well, what a remarkable night it has been. It really, really moves me to see our community come together and support First Step again. You know, this is our 4th year having this event, and we've had to do this and last year's virtually. And it appears that we're very close to making a new record for fundraising for this event. So I will share those numbers in a minute. But I want to just say that I am so grateful to all of you for being here tonight and riding through this pandemic with us. And I am very, very, very grateful to all the support that our team has given tonight, especially our philanthropy team, head up by Teresa Bizzo, our Director of Philanthropy. She has worked tirelessly and has had to completely transform the way that she has been used to doing so much of the work she does for this agency. So I am really grateful to her and the team that she has built this year and what they all have made possible. So with that, it looks like we still have a few donations coming in, and we are very close to 165,000. Oh, with the silent auction. So also keep bidding on the silent auction, which goes until 9:30, correct? Which goes until 9:30. But right now, we're looking at about 165,000. I think we can get there. We're about 800 and some change away. So there's about a 45-second delay on the donations coming in. So feel free to take this time to put in a little bit more if you can and you feel so moved to. So also, before we go, I want to give a very special thanks to Carolyn Clifford for hosting us tonight. She always comes and gives her time and her passion to First Step and the cause of ending violence in our community, and we're so grateful for her commitment to us year after year. I also want to deeply thank Patrice Alexander and Lisa Beth Ripel. I know that they worked very hard on making this event successful up till the very last minute, and I'm so grateful to them as well. To our event committee, including our decorating and marketing event subcommittees who worked tirelessly on this event even after we pivoted to virtual with not a lot of notice for them. And of course to Elsa Blanc, with our Animals Receiving Kindness Committee, who organized this incredible silent auction that you can still bid on until 9:30. And for those who both donated to our auction items and the winning bidders that we will know at 9:30, thank you for your contribution. To Kat Nelson and Spalding DeDecker for producing the most beautiful videos for First Step and of our survivors and honorees. And to Motown Digital for being our partner in this virtual event. They continue to produce this wonderful night for us and are such great support to us and our work. We could not have done this without all of their expertise. To Kate Peterson, our amazing graphic designer whose creativity shines in our beautiful event program tonight. To our tremendously dedicated and kind luminescent sponsors, Karen Wilson Smith-Bauer and Ronald J. Woods Charitable Trust. To our Brilliance Plus sponsor, Bridgewater Interiors, with a special thanks to Ronald Hall and Carrie Elaine Tingle for all the ways they give their support, time, and talent. To our fabulous Brilliant sponsor, John and Diane Mace and Mace Insurance Agency. And all the other generous sponsors, ticket purchasers, and donors tonight, thank you. Please take a moment to review our program booklet to read about our sponsors and their wonderful organizations and companies. Our program also shares more information about our awardees and the services we offer. If you would like a printed copy, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to print one for you to keep. And one final thanks to all of you who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you and cannot wait for the day we can celebrate together in person again. Please, I hope we can do it next year. It's the commitment, dedication, and ongoing support to First Step that each of you show that ensures our services remain accessible, are of high quality, and free to those who need it. No one is immune to violence, and everyone deserves to live in a peaceful family and safe community. Please continue to share your time, talent, and treasure, and be our First Step family, and ensure no survivor is alone when they are taking the steps to safety. Our fight does not end here. Remember, you are a point of light in any moment. a moment that can change the trajectory of a survivor's future forever. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to all of you and all of the ways you have supported us through this incredibly challenging year and a half. Thank you. And with that, I will welcome Carolyn back up. Thank you.
Yes, we need to give you an applause as I come up, Lori. Thank you so, so much. Yes, we want to just echo that and say thank you to everyone who joined us again tonight. It has been an incredible event, and though very different than our in-person galas, our First Step family has showed up and showered us with the love and support, just as they always do. Can you believe that? Our event might be coming to an end, but our work toward ending violence and supporting survivors is certainly not. We will continue to fight against domestic and sexual violence and bring peace and safety to our community and so many people who need us. Please continue to share information regarding First Step. Encourage your network to donate through our Text to Give platform and take a last-minute look at our silent auction packages on ClickBid. Our silent auction will close at 9:30 p.m., and all of the winners from tonight's silent auctions will be contacted via email to learn of their next steps to receiving their packages. I hope tonight you are leaving feeling as inspired as I am. Don't forget to bring love and light to all that you do. Thanks again to each and every one of you. We will certainly see you next year, and again, we hope it will be in person. Have a safe night.